We're here with Zeke. I'm surprised we haven't had you on. You've just been busy.
Well, I don't know if busy is the right word.
I like the beard.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's funny. It's the first time ever I've grown facial hair. First time ever.
Really?
You know, yeah, I never have, and you know, it's just funny because being, you know, in the Marine Corps and stuff, well, eons ago, like it's something that you never, you know, do. You know.
So did you not know? Did you know that you could grow a nice look? Because you don't know if you can grow a nice looking beard until you grow the nice looking beard. Like this is bad. This ain't gonna do.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. You know. So yeah.
I can't. I asked my daughter. I shaved a little bit a couple months ago, and she cried. Like literally was upset at me. So I'm like, well, there's my excuse.
Women love beards, man.
I don't know. My wife was giving me a really hard time about
Yeah, wait till you go out though, and all the other ladies are like, whoa, look at that silver fox over there. and then she'll be like, I love the beard. That's what you got to do. You know,
yeah.
Wear it out.
I was thinking about using Just for Men to kind of comb it out. So it looks
that's what I would do. I want to put like a human hair growth hormone just so I can get like.
We had our buddy. I won't name him because I don't want to embarrass him. But we had our buddy on like a live Zoom.
Yeah.
And his wife comes over and shows us his beard growing kit like that he's been using, and totally like blew his. I felt so bad for him.
What's in a beard growing kit?
I don't know. It's like it's supposed to stimulate your follicles.
There's like these little rollers you can roll on your face, so it's supposed to stimulate growth. And I'll be honest, he's got a lot of work to do on that beard. I hope his kit works because it's worse than mine.
Wow.
You should just do a mustache, straight mustache. That's my next move. Is only mustache.
Please,
it's not currently allowed.
Fu Manchu.
Do it.
No, I wouldn't be allowed in the house. The mustache I could probably do. So Zeke, what have you been up to? Like,
holy jeez.
Can you still work?
I mean, well, it's been a challenge. It's like, you know, I've got a whole team of people that work with me, and I've been adamant about trying to keep them on, even though that there's nothing really to be doing right now. So you know, the first like 3-4 weeks were tough because I wasn't certain of like, you know, kind of like what to do. And I've been doing this thing with kids for, gosh, about 8 years now or so. And so I had this epiphany that we always do these things live, and I'm like, well, heck, why don't we just do it online as part of like a Zoom virtual party that's going to be on Thursday. And so I ended up putting together these art kits and then delivering around the Lehigh Valley to over 60 kids.
Oh, cool.
So it's just one of those things that it's just like you kind of like sit there in a funk and not sure what the hell to do. And then all of a sudden it's meant of like, whoa, because I've been having a hell of a time trying to be creative. Yeah. Like it's been like I want to write, and then I just sit there and just like nothing comes up, and then you know we've been doing some stuff, but it's just a matter of like no huge things are been on my mind, and like my entire film industry is basically, you know, took a big dump.
I think there'll be a lot of creativity like after. Like I think you're gonna find a lot of things after this, you know, art and music that were created maybe because of this. But I agree, like this is as far as really like we're not being creative really when we're turning on Zoom and just chatting, but it has been difficult to like come up with stuff because you're so worried about other things, you know. It makes your problem seem insignificant.
That was my question, because I know how like I'll try to sit and write some stand-up or like work on a script or something, and then like within minutes like I'll get anxious and scared, like my mind will go to like the thing at hand, right? What's like our current danger, and then I get totally sidetracked. Is that where you're having your struggles, or is it because, you know, it's just hard to focus right now?
Well, I've got, you know, my wife is, you know, dynamo. She's very active in doing a whole bunch of stuff. So she's constantly around, you know, like everybody's around. We have 3 girls. One that was supposed to be graduating from college this year. Well, she's still graduating. She's just having a ceremony. So it's just a matter of like, it's just different. Like I'm right now in my basement where I'm never, ever like here, you know, and this is where I can find my quiet space to be able to be creative or do numbers or things along those lines. And it just is, I've been doing a lot of walking in cornfields. I know it sounds really strange.
No.
Because one is a matter of like, it's social distancing, you know, and it's a matter of like, I take my dog and we just go for like these hour walks. And it's something I used to do as a kid, as a teenager. and Laurel McCungy, because there's one year that there was so much death in my life. It was crazy. And I just had to get some sort of I just had to go think. And that's what I've been doing a lot, is just thinking about like, what's my next move? What do I want to do next? What's important to me? You know, and of course this morning I woke up panicked that I better get all my things in order in case I die. Which I never have ever thought about, because I've been somebody that lives by the seat of my pants all the time. And like now I'm just like, oh my gosh, my wife doesn't even know my passwords for, you know, certain accounts and things. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like
I'm still right now. I looked over everything I have to do today, and it's relatively easy. Like my day is fine, you know.
Yeah.
But I still feel like I'm forgetting something.
Yeah. Oh,
and it's not. And it was definitely not like that prior to this. You know, everybody has their anxieties but this is definitely different. Like I don't know why. Like I still feel that right now. Like I'm not. What am I forgetting? Nothing. Everything's good.
Yeah.
But there's still that underlying dread. And I haven't walked in the cornfield, but I went downtown Bethlehem, and it is nice to just kind of not have so much stuff flying at your brain. You know, we're bombarding people with all these videos. You know, it's like you do need to take a break.
I love the cornfield. That's what I've been doing too. I love that cornfield walk. That's like, I never would have used to do that. I would choose to walk through like a city and see people. But now it's like, I want.
Well, don't you worry? Like, do you own these cornfields?
Me? No, no. They're just
random.
Yeah, there's
some farmer.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm just like, you should probably wear an orange vest or something. You might think you're a Sasquatch.
That's why he grew the beard. So
exactly. It's like one right in. No, I take my dog with me. He's cool. He chases deer and shit. But so we live across the street from the Lafayette Experimental Garden. Then behind it is all these cornfields that Lafayette owns and so forth. So, so I go, walking through there and everything else. But it just is a matter of like, it just feels like there's something constantly on mind. And it's a matter of like, if everything falls apart, what do you do next? You know, like what's your safety net? Like as a creative being, and like always been, doing my own thing. Like I don't have a safety net.
Yeah.
You know, my wife doesn't have a safety net sort of thing. I mean, she could always go back to nursing, but that is a whole other ball of challenge.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just a matter of, what do I do next? I'm also responsible for, paying people, know, and everything else. And the whole PPP thing's been a complete disaster. I filed, you ready for this? I filed the first day you could file in March and nothing, zero. And the bank can't tell me anything. Oh, you're in line. This is a matter of like I know my name is like, at the end of the alphabet, but it's a matter of like how much, you end up doing.
That shouldn't be the explanation that, your name is at the end of the alphabet. That's not.
Yeah. I know. That's not what they said, but it's just a matter of like
it could
constantly waiting. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Well, I want to ask you about kind of the film industry, but before I do, speaking of your wife, you have to acknowledge that I saw that very early on, your wife was delivering stuff to frontline workers.
Yeah,
right?
So,
number one, I think that deserves some recognition because that's awesome stuff, and I'm sure he appreciated that immensely, right? That was pretty cool.
Yeah. My wife is a big DIYer and can do a bunch of different things, and she immediately jumped on the sewing machine and started making masks. Like, I think she ended up making over 300 until she ended up getting like fatigue over it.
Yeah.
And so she does them sporadically now. She's not in the one room basically sewing for 8 hours a day right now. She's trying to be creative and doing other things.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because it kind of like screwed with her a little bit. Because at first she's like, okay, I'm going to be doing this for people and it's all awesome and everything else. But then it's a matter of like, then a reality hit her. It's a matter of like, oh shit, is this enough?
Right.
It's just like, that's the thing that people are, I think, really having a hard time with. Like, I've actually, early on in my career, I was in the restaurant business, and I did a lot of stuff with restaurants and things. And like, I feel horrible right now that I can't feed people.
Yeah.
And it's interesting is a matter of like, everybody always thinks because I'm a filmmaker, you make a lot of money and everything else, which is actually not really the case, especially in today's day and age. But it's interesting because the film industry like made me think about things a little bit differently. Like right now with everything just falling off the cliff, like, I've got a bunch of films that are on, Amazon and iTunes and everything else,
Mhm.
but it just is like there's such a gluttony of product that how do you break through with that? But what it's taught me is kind of like how to be resilient and what do you do next? Like I just don't know, what's in the future right now.
You mean in terms of the film industry, your business, or just in general?
Just in general, yeah. It's a matter of like, okay, like I would pay the bills by doing, commercial work for people and things. And like literally when everything's shutting down, I lost 3 big contracts.
Well, we have
what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do?
With restaurants, and I don't want to speak for any restaurants, but we have some clients who are, and they're not open, so you can't build them. But also it's not even, I'm not even worried about me. Like I look at some of those restaurants and I don't know how, without the help from the government, if they can even get it, how do they reopen? It's just, their margins are this big anyway. It just, like, hopefully they, and then I think about that and I'm like, oh my God, those people have actual problems,
Yeah.
And then somebody, I mean, you're creative and you're a filmmaker. Do you anticipate this time period to be like super fertile ground for, in 2 years stories to be told? Are we gonna get a bunch of quarantine movies?
I sure the hell hope not, because like we're all living it. And do you really want to sit in the theater and watch somebody else
relive it? No.
Yeah. And so I actually think that this is going to be not a lot of creativity happening. I think it's going to be the reverse. I think there's going to be a lot of vacillation and so forth. So I think that good product is going to be kind of hard to come by. There's going to be a lot of product out there again and everything else.
When you say product, like what do you mean by that?
Like films,
just like art. Okay.
The films and that sort of thing. And it's just interesting is because this whole time has really kind of shown you the truth of humanity and those people that are taking advantage of the situation. Big corporations and everything else are screwing the little guy. And it's like, hey, I've got 8 people that I employ regularly, right? Mind you, they're all freelance, but I promised them that I'd still be paying them because because if I don't pay them, they're not going to have anything.
Right. Yeah.
And so like, my wife and I are taking a hit on it, but it's like the right thing to do. And then you see this is really showing people's true colors. Like all those damn people out in public not using face masks. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty damn cavalier. Like I've always done my own damn thing and don't fear much. But I like take the responsibility for my wife and my and our daughters. And like my daughter's dad actually contracted corona, was in the hospital for it. So it hit close to home for us. So it's a matter of like, he's all right now, thank God. Yeah. The girls still haven't really seen him much though because of it. But it just is like people have to realize that it's your social responsibility for helping other people. And that's a big thing that I'm finding. Is like certain people are just like, screw you. I look funny with a mask. It's just like
they talk about freedom. Like you don't understand. Like what's freedom if no one else exists? Like it's not all about you. Yeah. And here's the thing too. Like, there's also courtesy where maybe I don't want to wear a mask, but I understand that there are people who may need that, or it's required to some degree. I'm gonna do it. It's just I don't want to hurt other people. I don't want other people to feel weird. And on the flip side, I guarantee you're going to start seeing people who wear masks because it makes them feel comfortable, even when you don't need to. And then they're going to get ripped on. Like people are going to make fun of them in public and stuff. And I don't want that to happen. It's just,
so it's interesting. It's like traveling a lot in my career. You would see a lot of Asian people have masks 5-10 years ago. And
for SARS,
no matter, well, not only that, but I think it's basically because of the smog and so forth and things. But it's a matter of like, and you kind of like look at them and just matter of like, oh wow, like do they have something or why are they doing that? But I think there's going to be more of a normal where, quite honestly, it's like people, when they go traveling on planes and stuff, are going to be probably wearing masks just because of the fear of other people.
I bought. They're called the face gaiters. They're just like.
Oh yeah.
I bought some of those, and I told my wife, I'm like, listen, the reality is the next couple months we're going to be needing these, so let's get a couple. Yeah. Like you can rewash and whatnot.
Right.
But I think there's going to be. I hope people just don't forget. So the people who did take advantage of people or do things horribly during this time period, don't forget when this is over.
Well, yeah, there's going to be a right and a wrong side of history for sure, right?
I agree.
things will age and.
I don't know if you want to start getting political or not, but it's like it's been an effing shit show if you ask me.
Yeah.
You know, and
well, it's because it's you. Like we're talking to a business in need. You know, and you're like, hey, I need help. Where is it? It's going to Ruth's Steakhouse or wherever. And that
the LA Lakers got some money though.
Are you kidding?
No, they applied it. Or do they give it back?
They got the money, and they gave it back.
Yeah, they gave it back.
Out of like pressure from like social pressure, they would have kept it if nobody said anything, and that's bad.
That's amazing.
That's
like.
I just don't. I don't get it. I really
so
don't.
you're not filming anything? There's no
no
Zeke Zelker.
Not right now. No, I've been working on something for a couple of years, and I just don't. Not in production, mind you. I've been writing something. Oh gosh.
Look at that.
What is that? Is that my MVB? Yeah.
Yeah. Why look at that?
God, I look like a kid.
Look at that one. Yeah, you definitely want. He's like, I'm so filmmaker-y.
Yeah, you like that one?
These are fun.
Gil, we actually did a Zoom call with Gil. We showed Loggerheads, and that was a good time.
Did I tell you when we were moving? I don't know how you're going to take this. When we were moving, we found the Fading DVD, and we're like, oh, that's great. I mean, we watched it, but Crystal had it like before we had met, right?
Oh, really?
She had the DVD, and so when we were moving into this house, it like popped out of a DVD thing, and we're like, look at that.
That's cool.
We both like, yeah, this is funny.
Yeah. But it's kind of cool
Tyler,
to have things that people like, that live beyond what you normally,
But Ty, did you ever tell him the story about when your car got robbed and he had all his comedy CDs in there?
Yeah.
And they stole change, but they didn't steal his CDs.
They didn't take one.
That's my favorite story. They're like, no one will even buy.
I literally couldn't give them away to a burglar. That's how bad it is.
That's great. That's really great. Well, no, I've been working on a story for a long time that I was challenged to actually write into a novel. But right now I just can't write. It's just been a really hard time trying to focus and trying to do those sorts of things. But it's just a matter of like doing a lot of cooking for the family and things. Grew a garden. I'm trying to think of positive things instead of being so like Debbie Downer.
You seem like you're bettering yourself to be like I'm gardening, I'm cooking. Like
I'm taking long walks in the cornfield.
Yeah, I'm walking through the cornfield with my dog. Like these are. It's funny because my one friend was like, "Yeah, this first month of quarantine, I lost 15 pounds. I have to bike all the time." I'm like, sounds great, dude. Like, I understand we all want to go do things, but I think there's something to be said for some introspection.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's interesting is a matter of people keep asking me like, how do I see the film industry happening in the future? And I really think that, you like Arts Quest could open up as far as I'm concerned. They have to like basically bring back ushers. You sit here, you sit here, you sit here. A lot of the theater chains now have assigned seats. That's an easy way to block things out that you can't sit, Harry Carey and things. And so like, I feel like there's certain things that could be done responsibly. I mean, mind you, being in a concert venue, no, but I think being in a theater, yes. And it just is, you're just being responsible and kind of like bringing back how things used to be 20 years ago,
Yeah.
Hey, this is pretty interesting. I just read this morning about Hemsworth's new movie on Netflix and how it made whatever. And Trolls World Tour made $100 million on video on demand. It was the biggest opening ever, obviously for these reasons. But do you look more at putting stuff like what is, as a filmmaker, with the video on demand stuff going to Netflix or going in a theater, would you rather one or the other or both?
Well, I end up like I firmly believe in theatrical. That's actually where I've generally made more money in the short run. In the long run, that obviously it's on pay-per-view and so forth. But like I really enjoy the theatrical experience, and that's kind of like where I've always gravitated towards. And I feel like doing things that just end up online is kind of like, I don't know. It just doesn't. It feels disingenuous, I guess. I don't know whether if that's the right word for it, but yeah, it's possible to do. But it's a matter of like us as creatives. Yeah, we want to tell stories and share with people, but there's not like imagine Tyler that you're just telling jokes online. for an online audience? Like, how does that resonate? How does that go?
It's we've tried to, and it's not fun. It's zero fun.
Right.
It's not even a little bit fun.
Yeah, because I think what I'm getting, it is being at the theater is part of it. Watching the movie itself.
I swear to God, if the movie theater goes away, that'll affect me badly. I love going to see a movie that I don't know much about with a friend and just being like, let's see how this goes. I'm interested. And then it's like, you buy candy, you sit down, there's this weird smell, like there's a distinct smell there. And there's the
which one are you at?
They're all the same. I go into the Boyd. I watch.
Oh wow!
When I went and watched the Avengers, I went by myself, and I bought the most expensive ticket. Right, like the 3D, whatever. Because I just wanted to make. I'm like, maybe nobody will be in there because it's so expensive. Nope, it was just completely packed. And
I love that. Going to a movie by yourself is the best thing ever.
I agree. But the interesting thing is, we were talking about before of people taking advantage of, and businesses taking advantage of people. I really think that there's got to be a huge reckoning in the theatrical space where, you don't have, $15 freaking buckets of popcorn.
Yeah.
That cost them, it's interesting is because I think that everybody started to have to do their own and like make, their own food and everything else. I start to realize like, wow, like what the hell was I thinking doing that? And I think that theaters really need to take the responsibility. One, there shouldn't be as many theaters as there are, right? Number two, it's a matter of like, I think they actually have to bring back service, personalized service, ushers and so forth. And number three is a matter of like, lower the cost of the enjoyment for a family, because that's how they're going to get screwed out of everything going online.
Yeah, well, that's this common thing. Like, they charge $12 for a bucket of popcorn, but it's like this big. It's like,
well, it comes down to how many
on that popcorn.
Like how I don't know what the what the profit margin is. But that's something. It's like, how much profit do you really need? Is the end of the day, capitalism is just we go for maximum profits and say, fuck you to everybody? Yeah. Or do you have some more consumer responsibility? And like you said, well, we lower the prices down a little bit so it's something that more people can enjoy. Maybe you make more money after that.
Well, so what's interesting is that Movie Tavern on, I think it's Tuesday nights, they have the discounted movie price, and then they actually give you a small thing of popcorn and a soda for one ticket price, which is, I think, almost less than half of what it generally costs. Those are the busiest nights.
Yeah.
And so that kind of goes to show you that, like, if I'm in a business of where I need to upsell to be able to sell, like, higher ticketed items in terms of food and everything else, I don't want to try and get as many people in the door as possible, not price gouge them, that you can upsell them then.
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy, but like, to your point, George, I think like, capitalism, I've always been a capitalist, and I'm not saying that I'm not, but there's also a capitalist responsibility. You've got to worry about the common good.
Well, so in capitalism, it doesn't make sense. Like the definition would say maximum profits, right? But it doesn't make sense if those maximum profits result in negative effects. You know, if I'm screwing everybody, well, great, I'm making money. Eventually, it's unsustainable. You have to have a profit margin that isn't something where people are going to eventually.
Yeah, it's not in their best interest to bleed the consumer from all of their money.
I would go more often
because that person will no longer be able to be a consumer.
Yeah. Right. Well, you see, like, what was that one pharmaceutical that did the that price gouge, like thousands of percentage and everything. It just it's just sad, really sad.
Yeah.
But I just think that people, I think people have to take a better consideration for humanity, and I really think that men particularly have to man up and take responsibility for their actions. It just is a matter of, like, I do so many things with disadvantaged youth in the Bethlehem, Allentown, Easton, and Whitehall, and it's just sad because, like, you have mothers out there working 3 jobs so that they can put food on the table for their child that's basically taking care of themselves because the child's father is nowhere to be seen. And I really think that, like, if anything, there's got to be also a reckoning of like men taking responsibility. It's sad. It's people have to man up.
Well, it's weird. Like, I look at I didn't think of it as much until I had a kid, and it's just the way that it is, But I look at the dads who are Little League coaches, and I mean, moms too, don't get me wrong. And you realize it doesn't seem like a big deal to be a Little League coach, but it's a huge deal. And the fact that people take time away from their lives to go do something for these other kids, I know it, like I'm getting maybe a little bit too much about it, but it's big. And you're right. Like to see people do that, it inspires me to do it. Like I want to be the dad who's like a Little League coach.
Yeah, I was coaching my daughter's soccer for a couple of years and stuff. I absolutely loved it. And
do you even coach soccer? You just like go after the ball?
No. I played soccer pretty competitively, so no, I was.
When you were teaching them like a trap defense and stuff.
Of course, I was. and if you're up and it's a hard team, you sit there with the ball and all kinds of stuff. But no, like I see these girls now that are turning into young women, and it's so interesting to see them when they were 7, 8 years old, and now they're mid to late teens, and they remember me as like Coach Zeke, and it's just kind of cool. And it's like people just need to take more responsibility and like look after humanity. And like, that took about 10 hours out of my week to coach, but at the same time, like I loved it, I enjoyed it, and hopefully I taught the girls something too.
And to that point too,
my dad was the coach of our rival high school basketball team. So,
tell Zeke the story.
Tell Zeke the story.
What's that?
Tell him the story about when you were going in, or so. Tell him.
Well, I found my dad passed away, so when we were going
God bless him.
I found the scouting report that he had today, and it is one of the most brutal things I could ever read about myself. He was like,
"Are you serious?"
Tyler, number 32. He can't dribble with his right hand. He's slow.
Like cement.
He can't play defense.
Why is this guy even on the team? Oh yeah.
Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible.
I framed that though. That's hilarious. I think too. One of the things along that line is also about community. Like we've been talking to some awesome people. We had the mayor of Tatamy on,
which I can walk to through the cornfields.
But it made us think. It's that appreciation. We have this guy from Tamaqua who got fined for putting his recliner on his porch, and we're looking down. We're talking to him. We're looking at Google Maps at Tamaqua, and I'm like, why have I never gone to Tamaqua for a day? And the response would be, oh, what's there to fucking do in Tamaqua? It's stupid. No, it's not. It's a town that exists that I don't go to all the time.
Yeah, towns can't be.
It's interesting. I don't know. No. I mean, maybe I've been in quarantine too long, but I'm looking forward to going to like Tatamy for like a Saturday afternoon, and maybe that's all there is to do in the Saturday afternoon is walk around. But that's fine. Like I'm like I don't know, the new appreciation of things I'm excited about too.
It might take you like 5 minutes to walk through Tatamy.
It doesn't matter. I'm still gonna give it to a live stream it.
You might want to link up another town.
Well, Nazareth is right on the way. I'll just.
Although they do have a post office, I believe. So
that's all that matters.
That's all.
So, well, tell us before we let you go. Tell us about. You mentioned it briefly, but what is the project that you're working on? Is there any way that anyone can help or?
Sure. So I've been doing this thing called, I have this organization called Art Spark, where it's what we try and do is we try to inspire kids to lead creative, healthy lives. And what we do is we host in-school assemblies where we teach them about nutrition, exercise, mindfulness. And then we have these evening events where the kids create a piece of artwork based on the things that they learned. Well, we teamed up with Lehigh Valley Riley Children's Hospital, and they help us put this messaging out and so forth. And so, so generally the evening events, we host at, malls, and, we're going to have one at the Banana Factory now that we can't do that. So I was like, literally like worried. I didn't want these children to think that we forgot about them. And so I literally tried to figure out, okay, how can I do this? And I'm just like, let's just take it to the people. Right. And so what I did is we created these, these gift bags of all these different art supplies dropped off a canvas. I delivered, I think it was 63 of them on Thursday and Friday of last week. And then this Thursday evening, there's going to be a Zoom party with all the kids. And because what we do is we get the kids up and moving. We teach them about, eating the rainbow, which different sorts of nutrition and everything else. And so we're doing that on Thursday night. And then we're having the finale at the Lehigh Valley Mall in the beginning of June, God willing. But it's just a matter of something that I've been doing for a number of years, and it's a way of giving back. And you know, we have a great partnership with Raleigh Children's Hospital, and it just is a matter of trying to do something beyond self. And it's just great to see these kids, and just to see they're so excited and everything else. And you're like, oh my gosh, thank you for not forgetting about us. And the principals are just like, thank you for doing this. There's got to be some sort of normalcy in these kids' lives. And so we're really trying to make a concerted effort to do possibly even more than we've done in years past because of all this stuff.
Yeah. So how can somebody reach out then if they want to help you or learn more?
They can find me on Facebook. Because I deal with youth, it has to be pretty closed down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I have to be very cognizant of that. But they can basically find me, on Facebook.
Just reach out.
Yeah, and that sort, because it just is great. And so we actually created a coloring book that we're going to be publishing for the kids, and handing those out. Because I really think that the big thing that's missing in education right now is nutrition, the importance of exercise, and the first thing to go in any school's curriculum is going to be art. And with all this stuff going down, all the states are going to be struggling. And so because the states are struggling, that means school districts are going to be struggling. And so they're going to be trying to find ways of cutting costs. And the first thing they're going to do is cut the arts. That's always what they do.
And it's interesting that right now, people, when they're stuck at home, what they're consuming the most of is art, right?
Yeah.
So in a time where we should be, empowering art and empowering people being creative, some of those programs are getting hit, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
I want to make an admission. I passed. This is probably not the best way to do it.
we're all
on edge. We're all on edge here.
So I don't know how this is going to be perceived. So there's this guy on Facebook. He's a streamer, and he was streaming. He role plays as a police officer in Grand Theft Auto. So they actually, like, this whole server, they all play by the rules. Like, they don't do what Tyler does and go out and shoot people. Like, if you shoot someone, they can call the cops, and then they'll come out.
What are you talking about? I don't do that.
When you play Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Long story short, you can tip them, right? And I'm watching this thing for like an hour on Facebook. And I'm like, I should pay this guy. Like, he's entertaining me. So I gave him like, $10, you tip in coins or something. But I think, and I'm not pretending I'm donating a lot of money. It's just a thought. Like, wow, I'm watching this and I'm enjoying it. Yes, thank you. Thank you for doing that. So I think kind of thinking that we're so much about gimme. I think that it's cool to see musicians even putting up their PayPals and Venmos and people responding to it. So
yeah. Well,
go tip a streamer.
Well, yeah, no kidding. It's been interesting. In the past month, I've had more people reach out to me about a film I did years ago, In Search Of, that still circulates and everything else. And people ask me questions about it, and also with Billboard, thank God. And it's been fascinating that, you create a piece of work and you kind of forget about it. Then all of a sudden, like, people start asking you from Missouri, what was the inspiration for this or that? And it's pretty cool that you can create and still affect people's lives years after the fact. And you're right, George. It can't be about gimme. I think it has to be a lot of stuff where you have to figure out a way that you can do something and also give back at the same time.
Well, yeah.
It's funny. You see Julia Garner there? I met her at Sundance when she did her very first film, the blonde that's in Ozark and Waco.
Oh, yeah.
It's so funny. It just meant, I was like, oh my God, she's gotten huge. Yeah.
Tyler, where's your IMDb page? I can't find it.
I don't think I have one. I think you have to be in a movie first or something.
Hey, there is a Tyler Rothrock in here, though.
It's probably that would be the worst if there's a different one that's not me.
Wait, oh my God. Hold on a second.
Let's.
No, this could be you. Is this you? Were you in Swears for Robots?
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah. Why would that be there?
You didn't even make this page?
I didn't make the main page. Oh, yeah, I'm right there. Look.
Wait.
Man, I'm fat. Here you are. Too. Holy shit. Look how fat I am.
Oh, you've been biking, quarantining? We got to get your IMDb. Your IMDb page is horrible.
Well,
Zeke, you got to help him out.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't have many credits, so.
I'm working.
I got a question for you guys, though. I got to play golf in a little bit. Do I wear a mask playing golf?
Yes.
Bring one when I think and I could be wrong. So I think if you're on the course playing and you're not near someone or whatever, you don't need to wear a mask then. But
what about like on a couple buddies?
Yeah, then sure, you should, because it's how close you're going to be.
What about if you go on a bike ride?
I think
on like a trail.
I don't know, man. Do you run? I saw people running with them. I think that's kind of, if you stay away from people, like if you're on the bike trail and there's somebody else coming, what do? If they cough in your face right then yes, they could give it to you. I would just think at this point.
Also, you can give it to them.
Right. I don't know. I'm bringing mine everywhere I go, and
yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll put it up,
and I don't care. Like I'm wearing a mask, and I bought a cool one, so I look.
My wife made me one that has Batman on it.
Oh,
like if you're gonna go big. Like I think. I called the guy we buy promotional stuff from, and I'm like, hey, can you give me a price on those things? Because it will give them out. Like people use them, why not?
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, Tyler, you gotta go golf, and I gotta go
have fun
with some stuff. Zeke,
okay.
Thank you. And then when we're through, like, let's get together. Let's pick each other's brains.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate you letting me do that too.
Yeah. No, not a problem. Not a problem at all.
Yeah, and if there's any way that we can help out, let us know.
I appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Okay.
Have a great day.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.